Good afternoon, Madhumita. Beta, send the link in the group and tell everyone to join fast. Send the link in the group. Darni, good afternoon, beta. Okay. Kamya, Yaini, good afternoon, beta. So we are talking about reproduction. In reproduction section, just 1 minute. Huh? Nandini, good evening, beta. Good afternoon, sorry. Good afternoon, good evening, whatever. Just 1 minute, huh? Okay. So shall we start the class? Kaushika, good evening, beta. Last class we were talking about reproduction. In that reproduction section, we came to know that there are two different type of gametes, or it is also called as germ cells. The germ cells are sperms and ova. Now today what we are going to do is we are going to learn about male reproductive organ. Okay, like in male reproductive organ, it is, I told you already that sperm is exactly a highly specialized cell, and it is exactly capable of or it is exactly helpful in reproduction. So there must be some place in the human body from where it is exactly growing and it is coming out. So now we are going to talk about human reproductive, specifically male reproductive part. So in the male reproductive section, we are going to learn about the male reproduction section. In the male reproduction section, we are going to talk about where is the place where the sperms are actually formed. So, okay, now the place where sperms are actually formed, where the sperms are stored, and how the sperms are exactly getting its motility. Motility means how it is exactly moving from the testis towards the seminal vesicle, and from there towards the urogenital area, okay, and towards the penis. So we are going to learn about that one. So one by one we are just going to understand that this is exactly a pair of testes. This is exactly called as pair of testes. So they are exactly capable of doing two work. One is formation of sperms, and the second one is exactly what you call hormone, that is the male hormone, that is called as testosterone, formation of testosterone and formation of sperms. So there are two important V Kavya, good evening beta. So there are two important work of this testis. So there is a pair of testis located, and this is exactly located in a what you called scrotum. A place where it is exactly freely hanging is called as scrotum. So scrotum is just like a pouch, and it is exactly located outside the male abdominal part. It is exactly called as scrotum. Okay, it is exactly called as, I'll be explaining about it, Kavya. Kavya, I'll explain about it. So this is exactly called as scrotum. Okay. Now one by one I'm going to explain about it. So first we have to understand one thing, that the sperm formation is a natural process, and how the sperm will be formed. So here testis is the region where a pair of testis is there. So this testis is the region where the sperms are exactly formed, and then this part is called as epididymis. Okay. So this is primary sexual organ. This is the primary sexual part of male reproduction, and this is called as, this coiling is called as epididymis. Okay, now temporarily the sperms are stored here. They are exactly stored in a place called as epididymis, and then this part is called as, this muscular tube is called as vas deferens. The vas deferens is connected to seminal vesicle. Now seminal vesicle is exactly secreting some type of gels. So these gels are exactly capable not only providing nourishment to the sperms, it will also provide motility to the sperms. So we are going to understand it in much details. Okay, so one by one, first we are going to talk about testis. So first testis part, and then we are going to talk about epididymis and then vas deferens. Testis, epididymis and vas deferens, these are the three things first we are going to talk about. Okay, so male reproductive organ. In the male reproductive organ, first we are going to understand that it consists of pair of testes. As I said, male reproductive part is consisting of pair of testes. It is exactly consisting of pair of testes that produce the male germ cells, and several secondary sex organs are also there connected to it. They are exactly called as duct system, then accessory glands and mating organ. So if you will be seeing that it is exactly, motility means movement. The sperms need movement. Okay, it has to move. So for that only the seminal vesicle is providing it. So I'm just going to the fluid which is exactly coming out from the seminal vesicle, it is exactly going to provide it. So I'm going to just explain about it. So now testis is the primary part, and after that duct system is there, accessory gland is there, and mating organ is there. So in male reproduction system, 4 are there. 1, 2, 3. So first is exactly called as testis. Testis is exactly, testis is there, it is consisting of pair, that is pair is there, pair of gland is there, that is exactly called as testis. Testis is producing sperms. Testis is producing sperms, and then the secondary, and then the several secondary sex organs are there called as duct system. We are going to talk about duct system also, then accessory glands and mating organ. So which organ is the mating organ for male? We are going to talk about that also. Testis, duct system, accessory gland and mating organ. Testis, duct system, accessory gland and mating organ. Accessory gland and mating organ. So these are the 4. These are the 4 important part. First we are going to talk about testis. So now testis is considered as the primary sex organ. Okay, for male, primary sex organ for male. So now testis are exactly ovoid in shape, and it is responsible for the formation of sperms and male sex hormone testosterone. So I already told you that testis is, okay, so this is exactly, where is the testis? The testis is this one. This is exactly pair of testis is there, and this testis is exactly capable of producing the sperms, and not only sperm it is producing, one more thing testis is producing, and that is the male hormone that is called as testosterone. Okay, so the male are getting the male character like beard and the physical, the appearance and Adam's apple, everything is because of the hormone what the testis is producing. The hormone name what the testis is producing is called as testosterone. The name of the hormone that the testis is producing is called as testosterone. So exactly pair of testis is there, and this pair of testis is producing a hormone called as male hormone that is exactly called as testosterone. I hope you might have understood this testosterone. Now we are going to understand that why testis is exactly located outside the male abdominal part. So it is hanging in a pouch called as scrotum. Okay, so exactly it is not connected to, it is not present inside the abdomen, it is outside the abdomen, and the pouch in which it is exactly present, the pair of testis is present in a pouch. So that pouch is exactly called as scrotum. Okay, now we are going to understand why it is like that. So first you have to understand that the sperms need testosterone. The good evening Renu. Testosterone, T-E-S-T-O, testosterone, S-T-E-R-O-N-E, testosterone. Okay, the male sex, the hormone is exactly called as testosterone, and the testosterone. Fine. Now next important part is in the this part I was talking about scrotum. Scrotum is the pouch, And why scrotum is exactly containing the testis, the pair of testes. So pair of testes will be present in the scrotum. Then why testis is exactly present in the scrotum? The human body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, but sperm need 2.5 degree less than 37 degrees Celsius. The scrotum is providing a lower temperature than the human abdomen. So because of that only, the scrotum will be exactly having testis. Testis is not inside the abdomen because the human body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, but the sperm need 2.5 degree less. The sperm need 2.5 degree less for its growth, for its survival. Because of that, the temperature is exactly lower in the scrotum region. So I'm just going to discuss about it, that the testes are located outside the abdominal cavity. They are actually found hanging in a pouch like structure called scrotum. So this is exactly called as scrotum. So this region is exactly, here one pouch will be there. So this pouch like is exactly called as scrotum. Okay. Now why it is exactly present in the scrotum? The reason is scrotum provide an optimal temperature for formation of sperms. So one very important part is that scrotum is providing an optimal temperature for the formation of sperm, and I told you that sperm is needing 2.5 degrees Celsius less temperature, because in our body the temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Sperms need the 2.5 degree less than that. So that is what it is exactly written there. The scrotum provide an optimal temperature for formation of sperm, which is 2.5 degree lower than the normal temperature of the body. The scrotum changes its position. Another important point is the scrotum keeps on changing its position. Like when outside temperature will be cold in winter season, then the scrotum will be exactly shifting towards, means when the temperature will be cool, then the scrotum will shift towards the abdomen, so that it will get its necessary heat, and when it will be hot, it will exactly shift down, so that it will be away from the human body temperature. Okay, so now this part I'm just going to, the scrotum changes its position to maintain the required temperature. When the weather is cool, the scrotum shrinks and comes closer to the abdominal cavity to get the body heat. When the weather is warm, the scrotum moves away from the abdominal cavity to get rid of the extra heat. Understood? To get rid of the extra heat. So Celsius sperm is needing, yes, sperm is needing a temperature lower than that because it cannot be withstanding in that temperature. So 37 degrees Celsius is normal human body temperature. Now scrotum, that's why scrotum, inside scrotum testes are there, so that it can maintain that temperature. Okay. Now duct system. So now we are going to talk about secondary sex organ. First sex organ, the most important sex organ we talked about is testis. Testis is responsible for formation of sperms. Like in female, ovaries are responsible for formation of ova or egg. In the male, testis are responsible for formation of sperm. Okay. Now next important point is the secondary sex organ. So I told you the four important part. First important part already we have discussed, and that is the testis. Now the secondary part. In the secondary part we are going to talk about, see, how the sperms will be exactly coming from the testis and going towards the female reproductive part. That is exactly, there is a channel that is we are going to talk about, that comes under secondary sex organ, that is help in reproduction, but they do not produce gamete or sex hormones. So secondary sex organs are not forming sperms. Okay, they are not forming sperms, but they are exactly, and they are not producing they are not producing sperms, but they help. Okay. Now duct system. What is exactly called as duct system? It is made up of epididymis and vas deferens. So now we are going to see where is epididymis and where is vas deferens. So this part is, I told you, this coil is called as epididymis and this part is called as vas deferens. And epididymis, this coil, is exactly the temporary storage of sperms. So where is that sperm stored? The sperm is exactly stored in, after testis is going to produce sperms, the sperms will be exactly stored in epididymis, and from there the vas deferens will take it. It's a muscular tube, that this tube is exactly going to take the sperm towards the seminal vesicle, okay, towards the seminal vesicle. So now we are going to talk about this. So we have understood that first part is duct system. Duct system consists of epididymis and vas deferens. Duct system consists of epididymis and vas deferens. Duct system is exactly containing two important parts. First is epididymis. Epididymis is storing the sperms temporarily, and vas deferens is exactly taking the sperms to the seminal vesicle region, So now duct system we are going to talk about. The epididymis is a set of coiled tube. So it is present in both the testis region. It is a set of coiled tube that leads into the vas deferens. The epididymis stores the sperm temporarily. I told you now, the sperms are exactly stored in the epididymis temporarily, and after that the vas deferens is a muscular tube that passes upward alongside the testicles and transport the sperm. So the duct system work is to, what is the work of this duct system? Epididymis and vas deferens is to, first is to temporarily store the sperms, and second transport the sperms to this part, okay, testicle part. Okay, I hope you might have understood till here that first work is to store temporarily and then to transport it to the seminal vesicle part or testicle part. Yeah, you can say like that. See, fallopian tube is this one. See, look here, this is the female reproductive part. This is called as fallopian tube, oviduct. The other name of fallopian tube is also called as oviduct. Now, exactly what happens, the ovaries are exactly releasing the egg hair only. Okay, so this is exactly called as fallopian tube or oviduct. Till here, is it clear? So, like fallopian tube, yes, vas deferens work is the upward movement of the sperm towards the seminal vesicle. Okay, so duct system consists of two. The most important two parts of duct system is epididymis and vas deferens. First, we talked about primary sex organ, that is the testis. Testis is exactly present in scrotum. It is outside abdominal cavity to maintain it consists of a temperature lower than the human body temperature. Okay, now we are going to talk about accessory organs. So accessory glands. So like human digestive system is there, accessory glands are also working, very important. So what are the work accessory gland is doing? Accessory gland consists of seminal vesicle, a prostate gland, a Cowper gland, okay, and the penis. So accessory glands are consisting of this. So what is exactly, where is seminal vesicle located? The seminal vesicle, this is exactly the seminal vesicle. A pair of seminal vesicle is located on either side of the male reproductive system. So this is exactly called as seminal vesicle. This part is called as seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle is connected to vas deferens. Seminal vesicle is connected to what? Seminal vesicle is connected to vas deferens. Okay. Now, what is the work of seminal vesicle? So, seminal vesicle, so one first accessory gland is seminal vesicle. The first accessory gland is seminal vesicle. What is the work of seminal vesicle? So, these are paired tubular coiled glands situated near the base of urinary bladder. You might have seen that urinary bladder is exactly at the top and it is situated at the base of the urinary bladder. So, they secrete a viscous fluid. So, the work of seminal vesicle is to secrete a viscous fluid. Okay, so this fluid what seminal vesicle is producing, it constitutes the main part of seminal fluid or semen. So, semen main part is exactly the fluid what it is secreting. Now, what is the work of this? In which sperms are present? This fluid provides nourishment to the sperm and act as a medium for their transportation. So, not only this is providing this viscous fluid not only give nourishment to the sperm, but it is also providing its medium for transportation. Okay, so it is exactly making it as a what you call it can be making as a fluid part so that it can have a transportation. It can make it as a fluid part so that it can have a transportation. So seminal vesicle or semen. So this part is seminal fluid or semen. So it is exactly making the sperm. Sperm when added with this fluid is called as semen. The sperm added with seminal vesicle fluid, that seminal vesicle fluid is a viscous fluid. This fluid is exactly providing nourishment to the sperms. Not only it is providing nourishment to the sperm, it also helps the sperm to have transportation. So where is seminal vesicle located? Now after seminal vesicle is this one. So this is exactly urinary bladder, the male urinary bladder where urine is stored. So that below the urinary bladder you will see this seminal vesicle. So the vas deferens will be connected to the seminal vesicle. Now in this region, the seminal vesicle, it will provide a viscous fluid. What is the work of this viscous fluid? The work of this viscous fluid is exactly to give what you call the fluid part to the to the sperms. So when the seminal vesicle fluid will add to the sperm, mix with the sperm, then it is only called as semen. Then it is exactly called as semen. So this is exactly seminal vesicle, and the vas deferens is exactly directly giving the sperms to the seminal vesicle, and then the seminal vesicle is mixing the what you call the viscous part or the fluid part here. Now after seminal vesicle comes the prostate gland. Okay, many a times we might have heard, Sudarshan, good evening Sudarshan, many a time we might have heard about prostate gland cancer. The enlargement of this gland only is coming as a prostate gland cancer. Okay, now I'm going to talk about prostate gland. First we are going to understand what is the work of prostate gland. See, like seminal vesicle, it is exactly providing fluid, viscous fluid. So this viscous fluid do two important work. First important work of this viscous fluid is, Rahul, good evening beta. So first important work of this viscous fluid is to give what you call nourishment to the sperm, and the next important part of this fluid is that it helps in the transportation of the sperm. It helps in the transportation of the sperm. So that means this fluid provide nourishment to sperm and act as a medium for their transportation. Now next important part is prostate gland. Prostate gland is a very important gland for male reproductive organ. Why? Because the enlargement of this gland can be problematic, and it can also be what you call one of the reason behind problematic urination. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about that. So prostate gland, it lies at the base of bladder and surrounds the beginning part of the urethra. It contribute a thin alkaline component to the seminal fluid. So till now we understood that when the sperms which is coming out from, till now what we have understood? We have understood that testis is exactly producing sperms. Sperms are temporarily stored in epididymis. Epididymis is connected to vas deferens. Vas deferens is exactly bringing the sperms in the seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle exactly secretes what you called viscous fluid. This fluid provides nourishment, and it also helps the sperm to have transportation, means it provides fluidity to the sperm. And after that we are going to go towards the prostate gland. This prostate gland is exactly making the solution alkaline. Okay, this the semen, the semen what is exactly containing sperm and the fluid part will get converted alkaline here in the prostate gland. So now what is the work of it we are going to talk about. So exactly the work of prostate gland is, it lies at the base of bladder. So it lies at the base of bladder and surrounds the beginning part of urethra. So urethra is the opening. Urethra is the opening, and we know that urethra means urinary bladder is connected to ureter, and urethra part will be there. So urethra means opening region will be there, which is connected to penis. So now we have to understand next part. It lies at the base of the bladder and surrounds the beginning part of urethra. It contributes a thin alkaline component. So prostate gland is secreting a thin alkaline. Alkaline is basic. Alkaline means basic, not acidic. It is secreting a basic component to the seminal fluid, which increase the motility of the sperm. Means this basic component will help the sperm to have a movement. Okay, so it will exactly make the sperms motile more. So it will help in the movement of the sperm. It will help in the Devansh, derivative after conic section. Derivative after conic section, Devansh. After conic section, I am going to teach derivative beta. After conic section only. Right now I am teaching circle. I'll teach it fast only. I'll try to finish it fast. Okay, Devansh. Now look here. So we were talking about the seminal fluid. The seminal fluid is getting converting alkaline by the help of the prostate gland. Prostate gland is exactly okay. Okay, Devansh. No, look here, this gland, when it will become enlarged, now I'll explain about it. This gland will become enlarged, and then anti-seminal vesicle is inside the bladder. No, it is outside the bladder, but in our book, in the given figure, it's outside the bladder. I'll explain that part. Just 1 minute, beta. I'll explain that part. A thin alkaline component called as seminal fluid. So that is called as seminal fluid is exactly secreted, and this alkaline will be exactly making the semen basic. Okay, this alkaline will make the semen basic. I'll go there, beta. And it provide motility means it will help the sperms to move. Means now the sperm will be sperms are actually having tail. Now this sperms are exactly having tail, its middle piece and the head portion is there. Now once this seminal vesicle and Cowper gland and prostate gland, they will be providing much nourishment and fluidity to the sperm, so that the sperm will have motility or the sperm will have movement. Okay, the sperm will have motility or the sperm will have movement. Now just 1 minute, where I was. Okay, so prostate gland, it lies in the base of the bladder and surrounds the beginning part of the urinary bladder, and it contributes a thin alkaline component to the seminal fluid. So one thing I'm going to discuss about it. Okay, one thing I'm going to discuss about it, just 1 minute. Alkaline to the seminal fluid, which increase the motility of the sperm. The secretion of the prostate gland nourishes and activates the sperm to swim. Okay, so this is exactly helping the sperms to swim. Now look here, you were talking about this part now. See, whatever the sperms are exactly going to see, this prostate gland is exactly when the sperm will be coming, the sperm will be exactly getting mixed with this. Okay, the sperm will be getting mixed with this what you call thin alkaline solution, which will help the sperm to have motility, means mobility means movement. It will help the sperm to have mobility or movement, you can say. Okay, now prostate gland, see, look here, I was discussing about prostate gland, the enlargement of this prostate gland only because it is, if you will see that it is exactly in the outer region of the penis, this part only. So if this will get enlarged, the enlargement of the prostate gland only creates problem in male reproductive part, exactly. Then because everything, this is called as urogenital area. This is a common pathway for male for urine and sperm secretion, both sperm ejaculation. This is exactly called as a common pathway. Okay, so this common pathway is exactly if it will be exactly contracting this region, then urination problem will be coming. That is exactly, and sometimes the enlargement of if any tumor or something will be there, then this gland will become cancerous. Okay, that is exactly I was talking about, that prostate gland enlargement is only problematic. This will be exactly easily shot out by male if the urination is very frequent. That means no such problem is there. If the urination is not frequent, then only this problem can come. So sooner or later the male has to go for a test. So prostate gland, it lies in the base of the this part we have already discussed. So alkaline solution it is secreting. Till here I hope everything is clear. Anti-seminal vesicle is inside the bladder, but in our book it is inside the bladder, but in our book, in the given figure, it's outside the bladder. Okay, it is exactly outside. It is going to, I'll tell how, where is the connectivity, okay. Now next is Cowper gland. Next gland is Cowper gland. It is exactly small, but it is having a very important work. These are two small bodies that are situated one on the either side of the urethra, a little inferior to the prostate gland, means below the prostate gland. It helps in lubrication as well as nourishment of the acidity of the male urethra. So a Cowper gland is exactly helping in the nourishment of the sperm. So it is helping as I'm just talking about prostate gland and seminal vesicle. They help in the nourishment, but this part is exactly, Cowper gland is helping in neutralization of acidity, because sometimes what we know that the urine is slightly acidic. When the urine will be coming acidic, then it will be problem for the sperm. So what they are doing, Cowper gland is doing, is it is neutralizing the not only it is neutralizing the acidity of the urethra, means the that part, but it is also neutralizing, it will be adding the neutralizing the female part also. Okay, so I'm just going to read this one out. So these are two small bodies that are situated on either side of the urethra. This little inferior, it helps in lubrication as well as neutralization of the acidity of male urethra. So urethra leads to outside of the body through the organ called penis. So urethra will be exactly connected to the penis. The penis will be the outer part. And now what is happening in this section is it opens at the tip of the penis, and this is called as urogenital apparatus. So urogenital aperture. So in urogenital aperture, it has to be what you call urine and semen. This urogenital aperture is the common pathway. Urogenital aperture is the common pathway for both the sperms and the urine, okay, for male. Now next important part, before going to next important part, this part is exactly called as Cowper gland. Okay, that is this part is exactly called as Cowper gland, and it will only be neutralizing. Its work is to secrete, and it will help in mobility also for the sperm, lubrication. It lubricate the sperms, and it also help the what you call this part, urethra part, which is exactly connected to the penis, to reduce the acidity. Okay, to reduce the acidic part of it, acidic part of urine. So I hope till here everything is clear. I tried to explain it in the most simple way. So now but one thing is that this connectivity of urethra to the penis, that is called as urinogenital aperture. Urinogenital aperture is a common pathway. Many a times they are asking that what is urinogenital aperture. Urinogenital aperture is a common passage for both sperms and the urine. It is a common passage for both sperms and the urine. Okay. So now we are going to talk about the penis. Penis is exactly, it is a muscular tubular organ which hangs from the abdomen in front of the scrotum. This is the copulatory organ of man. Copulatory organ means it is also called as the mating organ. It is also called as the mating organ. Copulatory organ or the mating organ for man. Copulatory organ or the mating organ. It is made up of two parts. One part is called as shaft and the gland. The shaft is the main part of the penis and the gland is the tip. The inside of the penis is made up of spongy erectile tissues and can expand and contract. So the penis part is exactly can expand and contract also. It is exactly erectile tissues are present inside the penis. So this part is exactly the tip is called as the gland. The tip is called as the gland. The tip part is called as the gland. Now we are going to talk about, so I think penis part is also over. So now we are going to talk about sperms. So semen, it is exactly sperms. Semen and sperm, what is the difference means? When we talk about the testis is exactly secreting the sperm, but when the sperm will be mixed with the viscous fluid from seminal vesicle and prostate gland, and then Cowper gland is providing it lubrication so that it will have it will have mobility. Mobility means movement. It will have mobility means movement. So semen is exactly a milky viscous alkaline fluid. Okay, so it is not acidic, it is alkaline. So semen is an alkaline fluid, and it is ejaculated by male during copulation. Copulation means mating. At the time of mating, this is exactly, the semen is ejaculated, and the quality of the that is exactly 300 to 400 million sperms are there. So how many sperms at a time? It is exactly nourished and motile sperms are called semen. Yes, exactly, nourished and motile sperms are called as semen. Mixer, it is exactly getting mixed. It is mixed. So sperm is mixed with the viscous fluid. The mixture of the sperm and the viscous fluid part is only going to be called as beta semen. So near about 300 to 400 millions of sperm at a time is exactly evacuated at the time of copulation, but only one succeed. Okay, the alkalinity neutralizes the acidity of the male urogenital tract as well as the vagina. So vagina is the female reproductive part. So not only the alkalinity of the semen will neutralize the acidic part of the male reproductive organ, but it is also neutralizing the acidic part. Acidic part of means if female vagina also it is neutralizing the acidic part of the female vagina. So sperms are tiny bodies that consist of mainly genetic material and long tail that help them to move towards the female germ cells. Okay, so the sperms are exactly going towards the female germ cells. So we discussed about the male reproductive part. Now we are going to talk about the female reproductive part. Understood? Any doubt is there, you can ask. Okay? Understood, Kavya? Thank you, beta. Okay, Rahul. So basically they will be asking about vasectomy, tubectomy. They will be asking about some type of genetic disorder, and not much big questions they will be asking. They will be asking about birth control. Sometimes CBSE is asking that type of questions, and basic questions they will big questions they will not be asking. Okay, understood everyone? So we are not expecting very big rocket science questions there. They will be asking some simple questions only. But now we understood that the main parts are there. The final we have understood that the male parts are there. Testis is there. Then after that duct region is there. Duct region is consisting of epididymis. So the last part, this is called as testis. It is present in the scrotum. Its temperature is 2.5 degree below the male body temperature. And epididymis is there, vast difference is there, prostate gland, seminal vesicle, and this is exactly called as prostate gland. This is copper gland, this is penis. Penis is divided into two parts. Your exam will be MCQ, so most important they will be asking about small things only they will be asking. So that's why in key points I have discussed. That's why I am just going to discuss the key points. Now yesterday itself I was talking about female reproductive part. In female reproductive part I talked about ovaries. So female are having a pair of ovaries. So exactly when this ovaries are exactly formed. Now 3 months when the baby will be, female baby will be inside mother womb, that time in 3 months itself the baby will have that. Modern table is also there. Congratulations. Now you are telling. That time you told only Mendeleev periodic table is there. Okay. Anything else is added there? Okay, fine. I'll try to cover it up. I'll try to cover. Don't worry. Just yesterday informed. No problem. We'll cover it up. I think that day we will have a long session. If you will allow me, tomorrow also I can keep a session. Okay, so now first we are going to go towards fallopian tube. See, the female reproductive organ is quite simple. So exactly this is called as ureter, this is exactly called as cervix, this is the vagina, and this part is called as hymen. The opening is called as hymen. Vagina is there, and then our environment also she added. Tell her to add full book, beta. Shall I start female reproductive part? Or shall I start maths? We will be finishing, we will take female reproductive part tomorrow, we will understand, and then we will talk about fertilization, how fertilization is occurring, and then reproductive health. And this part I think tomorrow shall we discuss about it, so that half an hour at least for 40 minutes we can study maths. We can practice maths. Today I am going to give practice. Yes beta, today I am going to give practice to arithmetic progression. Yeah, I'm going to start after 10 minutes. Fine. Fine. I'll start after 10 minutes. Okay. So tomorrow we'll be talking about female reproductive part.